Hello everyone, I am Marie and welcome to my studio. Today I am going to start a watercolor class for all the people that want to start a watercolor journey. This is for beginners and we are going to be exploring the watercolor and how it behaves. I am a hobbyist watercolorist. I never went to art school, but like you, I have learned by watching and by practicing, and I believe that art is in all of us. So we just have to dare to do it. And to be honest, that's what I'm doing right here. I am daring to put it on YouTube and share with you my experiences and what I have learned. So if you want to go on this journey with me, let's get started. So today I am going to start with the basic, and that is the water ratio, the blendings, the pigments, and the mixing, and the most important in the wet, dry, and dry and wet. Alright? So this is what we are going to do. I am going, my dog, what's going on? Whatever. Okay, so I am going to start with this piece of paper, but what I wanted to do is I have here this beautiful self-made um, sketchbook, and I have here, this is a self-made of handmade. This is a handmade paper that I have here that I got on Amazon, and I think it's called Artway, but I'm not sure, but I will look it up for you. Um, I'm going to tell you that the pigments, yes, is important. It's not very important which watercolor you're using. I'm using my Daniel Smith pigments, my colors, my watercolors, but that is not very important. You can just use whatever you have. Alright? Um, the only thing that probably happen is that when it dries it looks chalky, or the pigment is not that strong, but to start is not important. Then you are going to, of course, need brushes. I have here um, the silver black velvet brushes. I think these are um, good quality and is not going to be very expensive. I think an I think a 6 and an 8 will be sufficient, unless you want to do very large paintings, but we are starting, we are beginners, and this is quite enough. Alright, so of course you need some water to clean your brushes. I always have a spray bottle. I got interrupted by a phone call, And now I don't know where I was. I told you about the brushes. I think I was talking about paper. Well, silver brushes is what I have. Water, two. I always have two. I clean the brush with one, and if I need to mix any colors and I need to wet or use water, I use the clean water. You can also clean with one, and when you think it's clean enough, make sure and do it in the other one. But sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's just like, you get sometimes you get just easier, or you know that is not like so precise. But some colors, yes, because if you're using blues and you want to go into your yellows and you don't want any green, you need to clean your brush really well. But for the paper, I think the paper is the most important of all the tools that you need, because if you use a paper that is not a good paper and you get frustrated because it's not working, and you think it's you, but it's not. Believe me, I have been there. Like, why I see people doing this so easy, and it's easy, it's like a leaf, what, or a loose flower. Like, why is this so horrible? And yeah, when you start, you don't know. I mean, for you, it might be terrible, but believe me, 80% of the culprit is the paper, okay? Because in the beginning, of course, you have to get the move or your style, or, you're not gonna be like super good at it in the beginning. And believe me, art is art. So even if you do something that is, I don't know, it's still art, okay? You still, haven't you seen these cups and stuff with watercolor, or maybe even fabric sometimes? Like, you're like, wow, and it's just simple stuff, okay? So, paper, I use, this one is a handmade that I buy from Amazon, and I just cut it, so I just have like these big sheets of paper. This notebook I made myself. I made it with a class in Skillshare, and it's wonderful. And this is my first one, and I want to make a lot more because it was so much fun. So much fun, and yeah, I loved it. So I will be making more. So, I just drew here some squares and some circles that I just use my camera cap. Yeah, and that's it. And sometimes, if anything, I have to do this because, yeah, I'm kind of old. So, my eyes. So my eyes are not what they used to be. So, alright, so I think we're going to start. And what I wanted to do today is the dry on wet, or how do you say that? Wet on dry and dry on wet. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a color, pick up a color. You just always have, if you have a new uh, brush, you always have to clean it first, because most of the times, I don't know what's going on with my voice. If you have, I'm sorry, I don't know, I'm talking too much. If you have a new brush, they always have this waxy, gluey something on the bristles that you'll need to wash off. Okay, my brushes are not new, so just wet it because it was dry. And this is a handmade, this is arches, so I don't know, I could just do both. A color, I like pink, but a pink, and that is, let me see, where is my pink? This thing is just my pink, my pink. Oh, I like Potter's pink. That's one of my favorite. I'll use that one. Is that the Potter's pink? No, this is not the Potter's pink. This is the brown. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. I'm just using this brown. It's beautiful. Okay, we have some pigment, and the paper is dry. So I will go on it. Just go like this. And if you want to make it lighter, because remember, there is no white in watercolor. Okay, so you always have to think that the water is your white. So when you go with the water, you dilute the color and you get lighter. Okay, if you want to start by very light, you just have to have more water than pigment, and you will have a light color. Right, when you do this, most times in watercolor you start from the lightest color to the darkest, obviously, because you can't add a lighter color on top of the darker. Why? Because watercolor is transparent, and once again, the white is the water. So you have to always start by the lightest color to the dark. So when you have, let's say, a fruit that has shine on it, you have to see the color of that shine. Yes, that's with the wash you're going to start. You're going to start with the lightest color, and then you go to the less lighter to the dark. That's how watercolor works. Okay, so once again, that is light, dark. Okay, we are going to go on this paper because this is the book, and as you see, this paper is more rough, so I need maybe a little bit more liquid to go in all of these places. I love this paper. It's a very nice paper. I'm gonna do half like this, going into the water. I love want some more, just get some more water and we will get it lighter. It's going to bleed, always, it's going to bleed, okay? And that's another thing, well, we get to it in another lesson. But that is how you can go to dark to light. In some cases you can do that, but mostly when you have something like I said, a fruit, you have to start with the lightest color. Alright, so the other thing that I did was the very, very light color. Then you start with much more water. And if you want, you can just go much, much lighter with more water. And that is what happens. Okay? Alright. So another thing that you can do is begin with a light color. Still paper is dry. Go with light. And then you go to the darker. And you can just start here if you want. It's gonna bleed, as I said. And go on to the dark. Isn't this fun? Love it. Like that. And what you also can do is, let's say you start with the dark. Yeah, I'm just using it here because, and I'm not touching because otherwise it's gonna bleed. So okay, then I have dark here, and I can always go and get more pigment, make it darker, and just put it there. Alright, but now I want a light one, and I go with the light here. And then I touch. And that, you can do that too. So you can just take the color or take the water and thin it out. So you can, like what we did, we do that here? I don't remember. But let's do it again then. We get pigment. Get more pigment. Then we wash. Yeah. Just go and get clean water. the water is to the end. It's clear, as you can see. Clear water. And then you touch. And let it do its thing. And the same thing you can do, but that's the other side of it, is when you wet the paper first. So we wet the paper. I'm going to just do the whole thing instead of splitting it. Okay, I have water, just clear water, no pigment. And then, okay, let's just, for the fun of it, do a blue. I think this is indigo. No, it's not indigo. Okay, so what do? Is wet, so we just go and touch it. And what do you get? You don't get harsh lines. You can also go more water. Okay, so if we go, you have to get wet first. I know it's tinted because, well, let's say it's clear. And then I go with the blue. Very light color. So this way you can do that too. If you want more, you can always add more. And let it do its thing. Okay, so another one that you can do is when you have something wet, and you have the pigment. You just put the pigment like that. A mixed pigment. I don't know, let's do this one. And you can do that. And they just mix together. Now, if you have a, I'm just going to just keep using this one. Something like this. That has X amount of water, and you go with something that has more water than that one. What happens then is it's going to push, it's going to push the other pigment, it's going to push it, and you're going to have a line. If that's what you want to do, that's what you need to do. Like, let's say here, this one, you see that it's not mixed like nice and goes from the one to the nothing. No, you see it. You see that line. This one is, you don't see a line. See? So here you kind of don't see it either. So I tried to do more, but I guess it mixed better that way. But it's just that's watercolor. Watercolor is playing with it, and sometimes watercolor does what watercolor wants to do, and there is not a lot you can do other than maybe use a paper towel, or you know. So I am thinking that, and another thing that is maybe handy to know, when something is not all the way dry, like 100% dry, oops, like that one, this is something that is maybe something that is not 100% dry, and you go on it, and let's say you want to do something and it's going to, well, this one was not as wet, so this is how you make washes, and you stay. But this one was, see, that one was or is wetter, so if you want to do something on top of it, or I don't know, do your washes, then it's going to run. See, it's still running because it's not dry yet. So, all right. Well, so you can play with the colors and see what you can do. Next time, well, I I did the circle ones to make some color like this one, but I did it already here, so yeah, I think next time um, I will do the circles, and then we just do um, like maybe like a sunset kind of thing, we mix the colors. Yeah, that's a good idea. We do that the next lesson. I hope that this is something that you want to do with me. I hope that you learned something in this introduction to watercolor. I hope you come back for the next lesson. And if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe so you don't miss any of the classes. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Be blessed. Bye.